3.2% inflation, soaring rents, fragile safety nets. The American dream, it's collapsing fast. More professionals, more working families, more veterans, all on the edge of homelessness. If a major economic collapse hits, who falls first? Romekind uncovers the shocking answer. This is not just about the poor. It's about teachers, parents, the middle class. It's about people like you. Watch till the end to discover the top 10 groups facing homelessness in a collapsing America, and how fast this crisis could come knocking on your door. Number 1. Elderly facing rising costs. They worked, they built, they believed. Now, they're counting pennies in the aisles of Trader Joe's. That's how the elderly staring down the barrel of homelessness. It's no punchline. On a single night in January 2023, HUD's point-in-time count found 39,696 people aged 65 and older without homes. Add those 98,000 between 55 and 64, and you've got almost 140,000 older adults at risk. That's more than a statistic. It's a national disgrace. Most of these seniors live on Social Security checks of about $1,800 a month, yet pay over $1,300 in rent. They're squeezed. Choose food or meds, heat or doctor's appointment. The math doesn't add up. Social Security only covers roughly 40% of their pre-retirement income, yet financial planners say you need 70% or more to live decently. Imagine a retired teacher choosing between heart meds or dinner. A factory worker scanning the W-2, wondering if staying warm means skipping insulin. They're slipping fast because there's no backup plan. If the economy nosedives, this group gets crushed first. No savings, no part-time hustle, just empty pockets and colder nights. They end up in cars, tents, even outside Walmart. Think about that. Someone who once shaped young minds, now hunched in a parking lot. A humanitarian crisis isn't coming. It's here. If a nation can't protect its elders, what are we doing wrong? Number 2. Low-skilled workers on the edge. They clean your office, cook your food, haul your suitcases. They are the invisible backbone of our daily lives, yet they're first in line if things fall apart. These low-skilled workers, think cleaners, restaurant staff, baggage handlers, comprise over 20 million Americans. No health insurance, no safety net, no savings. These essential jobs are entry-level, no diploma required. But what happens when layoffs sweep through? Guess who's hit first? Remember the Great Recession? Back then, 70% of those who lost their jobs were unskilled workers. Now, with AI and robots elbowing in to replace manual labor, that risk isn't theory, it's real. So imagine you're putting dinner on the table after an 8-hour shift, only to get the pink slip tomorrow. No contract, no severance. Within weeks, rent doesn't get paid. Utilities get cut. Your home? It becomes the first sacrifice. That's not drama. That's the homelessness crisis in motion, ticking clock in your pocket. How do you prepare for life with no backup plan? Most can't. Automation doesn't care about your hustle. It just replaces it. These workers powered our economy through the pandemic. They kept things moving when everyone else stayed home. Now, what do we do when they need help? Here's a thought. Retrain them in robot maintenance or basic coding. Sounds futuristic? It's already happening in some tech-forward regions. or raise the federal minimum wage to $18 an hour so people have a real shot. But will we? That's the question. If the hardest workers are abandoned first, is the American dream still alive? If you think low-skilled workers deserve a real shot, just comment "real shot" below. And stick around. Next, we'll uncover another group facing the ticking clock of the homelessness crisis. Stay curious with Romekind. Number 3. The fragile middle class. Remember when having a house, 2 kids, and a vacation meant you were making it? Well, welcome to the year 2025, where one medical bill can turn that dream into a foreclosure notice. This is the story of the fragile middle class, once the backbone of the American dream, now teetering on the edge. In 2023, the Pew Research Center reported that Americans in the middle class dropped from 61% in 1971 to around 51% today. That's a decade of erosion, captured in a single statistic. They live in suburban homes, drive family cars, take yearly vacations. But beneath the familiar facade lies a minefield. Mortgages, tuition, insurance, property taxes, all rising while wages barely budge. Job loss or an unexpected medical issue isn't just inconvenient, it can obliterate a family's stability. Over 46% of middle-class households lack even 3 months of savings. Think about that. No cushion for the fall. They scrape by with buy now, pay later, tap into their 401k, get creative with credit cards, anything to bridge the gaps. But consistently, a small bump in the road becomes a full-blown collapse. Is that the promise of stability consumers were sold? The real sting. Many middle-class families feel betrayed by a system they once trusted. The American dream feels more like a balancing act, and sometimes the law of gravity wins. So, what's the real risk here? If recession hits hard, this group doesn't collapse slowly. They crash, and when they crash, they drag neighborhoods, schools, and the broader economy with them. Have you built even a small emergency fund? Maybe $50 a month. That's a start. Financial education isn't flashy, but it's necessary. So what do you think? Is the middle class saving grace, or the canary in the coal mine for economic collapse? Number 4. Forgotten veterans. They fought abroad for our freedom. Now they fight for a spot in line at the soup kitchen. The number 4 group is our forgotten veterans, heroes without housing. According to HUD's January 2024 point-in-time count, 32,882 veterans were experiencing homelessness on a single night, and 13,851 of them were unsheltered. That's real people, real faces. These are men and women who once held rifles, now holding cardboard signs. They served under fire and returned with mental scars like PTSD, physical injuries, addiction. Their benefits? Meant to honor service. In reality, VA payouts often can't cover rent in even a small town, let alone groceries or medication. Many rely on Veterans Affairs checks that fall short of rent, utilities, and food. Despite progress, like nearly 90,000 veteran households connected to stable rental homes and almost 48,000 permanently housed in 2024, the homelessness crisis among veterans still persists. Imagine budget cuts in an economic collapse. Older vets with limited options would be hit first. They can't jump into full-time jobs. They have no cushion. Cars, doorways, park benches, they become temporary refugees. If these brave souls lose everything they deserve, what are we honoring? A flag or an empty promise? When society allows veterans, those who protected us, to sleep outdoors, are we proud of that? Let me know in the comments. Does a nation that forgets its defenders deserve our respect? Your thoughts could spark real awareness. When a flag flies high, but the defenders sleep low on the pavement, what exactly are we honoring? Number 5. Young adults crushed by student debt. Remember when a summer job could pay for college? Today, even with 2 jobs, many grads can't pay rent. A generation trapped in a debt spiral they never chose. Meet the young adults stepping into post-college life not with crisp diplomas, but with chains of debt. They carry an average of $38,000 in student loans. The collective student debt pile has swelled to $1.77 trillion as of 2024. That's more than many nations' GDPs. Sounds surreal? It's real and biting hard. Graduation day used to mean opportunity. Now it means juggling unstable jobs, side hustles, zero assets, and zilch savings. They get laid off first in a downturn. A shaky economy, a medical bill, or even a small rent increase, boom. They're choosing between paying debt or keeping a roof. And guess which one loses out? There's a punch of irony here. These are highly educated people, often STEM or humanities grads, yet they're our most vulnerable. They taught themselves resilience. What if we taught them fairness? What can they do? Some qualify for public service loan forgiveness, but only if their job fits strict rules. Some hustle with side gigs, Uber delivery, freelance design, tutoring. Still, every extra dollar goes to loan interest, not savings. The dreams of starting a business, buying a car, or even opening a bank account feel distant. Let's not sugarcoat it. If America collapses economically, this group could fall into homelessness faster than anyone else. No safety net, no cushion, just a debt mountain and stiff monthly payments. But here's the kicker. There's also a chance. Imagine a future where forgiveness programs actually work, where income-driven repayment functions smoothly, where employer-sponsored student debt relief becomes common. We aren't dreaming impossible dreams. These are within reach. Do you know someone drowning in student debt? Ever wondered, could your university savings plan really save you? Quick pause. If this part of the video is making you rethink what it means to graduate in America today, or if you know someone caught in the student debt spiral, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and tell me, what's the most shocking fact about student debt you've seen so far? And if you're new here, welcome to Roamkind. Hit subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss more eye-opening content ahead. Now let's get back to it, because the next group on this list is facing challenges you won't believe. Number 6. Gig workers at high risk. You tapped a button, your coffee arrived, you clicked a screen, your groceries appeared. That's the reality of our number 6. The gig workers, just one missed shift away from a homelessness crisis. Think about it. Almost 1 in 7 gig workers in the US earns less than the federal minimum wage, 14% to be exact. More than 62% have lost pay due to platform glitches, apps deciding they don't deserve those hours. That's not flexibility, that's fragility. Their lives are a tightrope. No health insurance, no unemployment benefits, no paid sick days. Every dollar depends on whether your app works, if there's demand, how the algorithm rates you. And when the economy sneezes, they don't just catch a cold. They cough up rent, groceries, sometimes even their bed. 1 in 5 gig workers, 19%, went hungry in the past month. Nearly a third didn't pay full utility bills. Imagine delivering your own food because you can't afford to eat, then going hungry anyway. Sound like high taxes? No, it's the cost of zero benefits. But here's the kicker. During the pandemic, gig workers were our heroes. They kept us fed, delivered our meds, made lockdown livable. Yet no one delivered for them when it mattered most. Solutions? We could design flexible social insurance, set minimum standards for income and benefits. But talk doesn't crash playlists or pay rent. Subscribe for the next part. Because this crisis isn't coming, it's at our doorstep. And ignoring it now doesn't make it disappear. Number 7. Disabled and chronically ill at risk. Imagine fighting a chronic illness every day, and on top of that, fighting for a roof over your head. That's the reality for a huge slice of Americans. Over 61 million adults live with a disability, and around 194 million deal with at least one chronic condition, with 130 million grappling with multiple issues. They are not seeking pity. They are here, trying to survive. These folks rely on SSI or SSDI benefits. Those benefits don't stretch far in today's America. Housing costs soar. Medicines cost more. Inflation eats away at every dollar. We now have a full-blown poverty trap in motion. Picture choosing between insulin and rent. It's not hypothetical. It's happening. Your benefit check arrives, just enough for rent, but the copay for your medication? It's weeks overdue. You skip medication. The next thing, you can't pay rent. It's a domino effect, fast and merciless. What happens when there's a budget cut? They can't work more hours. They can't take a second job. They can't fight two battles at once. Healthcare costs rise, housing costs rise, but benefits lag behind. The system falters. They fall through the cracks. Some are now living in vehicles or couch surfing. Some find shelter in underfunded programs with long waits and uncertain futures. One wrong step, a medical emergency, a rent hike, and all stability vanishes. That's not speculation. That's today. What's the fix? First, protect disability benefits even during tight budgets. This isn't charity, it's basic dignity. Second, expand subsidized, accessible housing. Third, support community-based health programs so people don't need to choose between health and a home. It may seem like social policy wonk stuff, but it's real life, not political science. A humane society is measured not by GDP, but by how it treats its most vulnerable. Number 8. Single parents on the brink. She's a mom, a breadwinner, a budget wizard, and now one layoff away from a tent behind a gas station. Welcome to the Single Parents on the Brink chapter of the homelessness crisis. Meet over 11 million single parents in the US, more than 80% of them women, juggling work, childcare, bills, and emotions daily. Imagine rolling out at dawn to drop the kids at school, hustling low-wage hours, then sprinting home to make dinner and help with homework, all on a paycheck that barely covers rent, let alone savings. Can you feel the weight of that? Every dollar counts. Morning routines, after-school struggles, bedtime prayers, they're all part of the relentless cycle. One tiny wobble, a layoff, a rent jump, a broken water heater can unravel everything. There's no cushion, no safety net, no backup plan. The pressure crushes potential. And here's the kicker. Losing housing doesn't just displace the parent, it literally tears the family apart. Some avoid shelters because of space or safety concerns. The result? Sleeping cars, splitting families, disrupted schooling. Think about the long-term impact on innocence and stability. Shouldn't a society that values family prevent this? Current support? Shelters are limited. Aid programs are slow, bureaucratic, often tagged to be not poor enough. Irony in action. Meanwhile, these parents drive on fumes. They're heroes without capes, deserving immediate flexible housing and support. What can help? Fast-track family shelters, childcare support tied directly to rent relief, streamlined aid that doesn't punish ambition. Maybe throw in community kitchens staffed by volunteers. Simple ideas, big impact. In a nation obsessed with family values, why do so many families feel so expendable? What do you think? Is it fair that single parents are one pay stub away from crisis? How would you design a backup plan if you were in their shoes? Think about the kids sleeping in cars. If that hits you, comment, "Not okay," because families should have homes, not parking spots. Keep watching. The next group faces challenges just as real. Number 9. Recurrent homeless at high risk. They found shelter, briefly, housed again, hopeful again. But when the crisis hit, many tumbled back. Meet number 9. Recurrent homeless at high risk. Those who've been pulled out before and risk a fall again. In the United States, a staggering 23.7% of people who got housing returned to homelessness within 18 months. That means nearly 1 in 4 who escaped the streets ended up back there. Real folks with real fights. This group isn't new to the system. They know the drill. Emergency shelters, transitional housing, then back to instability. Their return often follows a lost job, an unpaid medical bill, or a past voucher deadline. It happens fast and hard. And guess what? Policies often treat them like a revolving door. Exit, enter, repeat. But each cycle, it chips away at hope, at dignity. Living on the edge is brutal. Stress fractures, mental health strains, physical illness rises, with unsheltered people reaching record highs, over 256,000 or 39.3% of all homeless in 2023. The system is collapsing from demand. Each returner adds to the strain. So what's the fix? Research from USIC shows that housing first works. 9 out of 10 stay housed a year later. No hoops, no waiting rooms, just keys and a roof. Combine that with long-term case management and u/homelessness crisis risk and save public money. But current supports, they stop once someone gets a place. No check-ins, no cushion, no backup. Imagine you just re-entered housing. You find a job, pay first and last month's rent, buy groceries, then your car breaks down, or rent spikes. Bang! You're back on the streets. Without aftercare, it's a trap. What if instead there was regular support, financial counseling, job help, mental health check-ins? Many wouldn't fall again. When someone climbs out once, shouldn't we build a ladder so they don't slip back? Number 10. Immigrants left behind. They came chasing the American dream. They ended up fighting to keep a roof over their heads. In the shadows of the economy, immigrants face the harshest blows. Imagine arriving in a new country full of hope. You pick crops, clean homes, keep restaurants alive. You believe in America, but the system doesn't always believe in you. With no legal status, no safety net, no health insurance, you're balancing on a tightrope above a homelessness crisis that can snap at any moment. There are millions of these workers. They toil in essential jobs, yet live in constant fear. A single layoff or rent hike can trigger eviction in weeks. No access to unemployment benefits. No government help, not even for a cold or sprained ankle. That's life without documentation. Every crisis hits harder. Despite this, they keep communities afloat. The economy leans on them, yet policy often ignores them. They pay taxes, they start small businesses, they work 2, 3 jobs, But ask for help? No way. Fear of deportation LGBTQ+? Removed? No, I'm just kidding. Fear of deportation? Yes. That's the everyday stress. Now sprinkle in high taxes combined with no services. A cruel mismatch. You pay in, but get nothing back. Doesn't sound fair, does it? But this mismatch is real. They pay their share, yet are barred from the safety structures everyone else leans on. If the economy collapses, this group may be invisible among the first to lose housing. They're already hanging by a thread. No benefits, no buffer. And when push comes to shove, their lives can unravel faster than most. Is that the American value we claim to uphold? But here's a thought. What if we legally recognized long-term workers, opened pathways to residency, offered basic emergency housing for undocumented families? We aren't dreaming far-fetched ideas. Other countries already do it. It might cost money, but the returns are massive. Stable communities, tax-based growth, public health improvements. So I want to ask you, do you know an immigrant hustling every day just to stay above water? Ever wondered what would happen if they suddenly had access to the same safety net as everyone else? Drop a comment. Let's talk solutions. Well, here we are, staring into the mirror America sometimes prefers to avoid. These 10 groups remind us homelessness crisis isn't some distant shadow. It could be the neighbor, the gig worker who just dropped off your dinner, or the retiree counting pennies down the aisle. But this isn't the moment for fear, just a moment to reflect. What do you see as the biggest risk to keeping a roof over your head today? I'd love to hear your take. The more we talk, the more we see. And if you enjoyed this little lens into uncomfortable truths, Romekind got more where that came from. Subscribe if you'd like. No pressure, no panic. Just curiosity and conversation.